Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. I'm sitting in Fran Schomel's chair tonight, a little bit different than where I usually am, but Fran will be back with us next week. Today we have with us a couple members of the CHS tennis team along with their head coach Jason Krause. And welcome all, glad to have you.
Well, thanks for having us.
You're right in the middle or right at the start of the season. How are things going?
So far, so good. We've had 3 matches. Matches just started this last week. Right now, we're 2-1. So right off to a fantastic start.
Sure sounds like it. Is this something new for you as the head coach of the tennis team?
This is my second year at Connorsville. Previously, I spent 5 years at South Dearborn. So even though I'm in a different situation, as still head coach. So,
and having been at South Dearborn, then you know the area teams and the area schedules pretty well. Then.
Yeah, since in the same conference, we know. I know what to expect. Usually on any given year, but you have move-ins and freshmen and undergrads. So it's a learning course. Day in and day out.
Did you play when you were in school?
I did. I went to LaPel High School. So I've been, I played singles and doubles, and then my senior year I was #1 singles. So I know how Christian feels going out there and playing the best player from the other team day in and day out.
Tough thing to do. You say you're 2-1. Who have you played?
Our very first match was Greensburg, and then lost to them 4-1, and then we beat Batesville 3-2, and on Friday we beat Shenandoah 4-1.
So 2-1. I think you'd have to be pleased at this point. You mentioned Greensburg. Seems like they're pretty good in most sports.
Yeah, Greensburg has always been tough. But we knew going into it was going to be a tough match, but it's also a learning curve. Who
else in the conference stands out?
Batesville, they're usually tough, and we got them. East Central has always been fantastic. Franklin County is usually in the mix, near the top. Plus with them being a sectional opponent, so always looking forward to see what they bring to the table.
You mentioned sectional. As I recall, Franklin County, Connorsville, Rushville, who's the fourth team?
Union County.
Union County, yes, that's right. So small sectional, just 4 teams.
Yeah.
And unlike some sports, it's all single class, correct?
All single class, at least for now. It's being discussed at possible class, but that won't come and for another few years possibly.
And what are your thoughts on that?
It has its pros and cons. I like the small sectional, but it'll give us an opportunity to play other area teams trying to get to the sectional title. But other than that, we will see what happens.
Brought a couple players with you. You want to introduce your?
I do. I have behind me, I have Kirsten Ellis, #1 singles player, and then I have Grace Kelly as part of my #1 doubles team.
All right. And how are things going, Grace, with what you do with the tennis team?
It's going pretty good so far. Greensburg was a tough one. It was the first match, and they're the top in our conference, so it was a difficult one. But me and my partner Sarah, she's not here, but we play really well together, and we've been playing together for almost 3 years now.
Sarah?
Kogar.
Kogar,
And we just work really well together.
Is it one of them things you kind of know what the other one's ready to do, or
most of the
what
time
they're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long have you played?
I've been playing since freshman year.
Is there any kind of, for the younger kids, middle school or younger, is there any kind of program that,
There's now.
like club or?
Yeah, but I didn't have that when I was in middle school. So it was just a fresh start.
Just get in and
Yeah.
learn the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody else in your family play that
My little sister, Frances, plays.
okay.
She plays on the middle school team right now, which he also coaches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How's that work out? That keeps you busy.
It does. Middle school is in the fall. It's co-ed. And then we have about 8 to 9 matches. And then it just gives the younger kids an opportunity to play prior to hitting the freshman year. Because the schools that we usually play, they've had individuals that have been playing year in and year out. And we have the tendency of picking up a racket right when freshman season comes around. But this gives them the prior knowledge to start to start to do well.
Yeah, it's a great thing, I think, so that you do have a feeder system for when they get into high school.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is the second year for it, so it's been in the works for a while, but it's going to propel not only the girls' team, but also Chris Bloom's boys' team as well.
He does a great job with those guys.
He does.
Yeah. Kirsten, talk about being #1 singles. How did you get there? And I'm sure through hard work, but what do you like about that?
Well, I started my freshman year and got cut out of that season to COVID. So my sophomore year, I just started out in #1 singles. Just kind of had to fight my way through all those tough matches and work hard to get better. It's really fun playing everyone else's better competition, and also as a senior on the team and #1 singles, I'm a big leader on the team, and I like helping the other girls on the team.
How are the other girls doing, in your opinion?
They're doing pretty good. The middle school has definitely helped to get more freshmen that are experienced into playing, and we actually have some freshmen on our varsity roster right now.
Really unfortunate that you lost the season due to COVID.
Yeah.
All the athletes, because you can never get that back.
Yep.
Tough thing. What you want to go on and play in college, or what
Yeah.
are your plans?
I signed to play with IU East,
Great.
so I'm very excited about that.
So close to home here, where
Yep.
family and friends can come and see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to study when you get to IU East?
I'm planning to major in biology and study veterinary medicine.
Oh, terrific. Grace, what about you? What you a junior or?
Junior.
Yeah. And what do you want to do then?
I want to major in construction management.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I dabbled in that a little bit back before I retired. So very demanding field, but
It's good business.
very rewarding too.
Yeah.
When you see things built. Yeah. Coach, we talked a little bit off air. I don't know a whole lot about tennis, but tell us about the scoring and how that works, because it's different than any other sport.
It is. So scoring, so the first point, it's going to be 15. We don't start at 1, so you start at 15. And if you serve and you win, you're up 15 love. And so it's love, 15, 30, 40, and then the match, or game anyways. And in order for the varsity level, in order to win, you have to win 6 games twice. So best 2 out of 3 sets. So it's a lot of.
And that's per person or per doubles, right?
For varsity, yes.
Yeah.
So varsity consists of 1, 2, 3 singles players, and then a 1 and 2 doubles teams, and then everyone else is on JV.
Okay.
And so it is only 7 varsity players, even though you can have multiple people trying to get to that varsity spot. But I've been telling the girls that it is difficult because you only have 7, and you can't call timeout. If they're having a bad day, bad service game, or not doing very well, I can't call timeout and sub them in or sub them out. They have to stick with it and stay the course. Yeah.
So, coaching then from the sideline, you're able to talk to them, or
Yeah. During the play, I can't talk to them, but if the ball is out or they're walking towards to the ball, then I can talk to them just for a few seconds. And then on changeovers, which is on every odd game, then myself and my assistant can talk to them for about 90 seconds on the changeover, just to get prepared for the next few games.
okay. So that gives them on the changeover a chance to wipe their brow, get a drink, or
Yeah, all the above.
all
Yes.
the above, and just depending on weather. Weather has been this week at least looks like going to be pretty good.
Yeah, and, previously, especially last year's spring season was awful. We had the first few matches, a few weeks anyways, we had to reschedule due to rain and all that. But right now, this year, we're off to a good start. We were able to get all 3 matches in last week, and it looks like this week we'll be able to get these next 2 in, and hopefully keep the sun coming.
I was going to ask how many matches a week do you play? Can
Usually
you play?
Per IHSA, we're only allowed 22 matches. And that
Okay.
can be a dual match, which is us against another person or another team, or an invitational. And so as long as we have at least 22 playing opportunities, then that's that. So we have about 2 to 3 matches a week. Every now and then we play an invite on Saturday. Yeah.
Pretty good facilities we have here at Connersville.
Yeah.
Lights and
Lights. There's a few schools that we play that don't have lights, so hopefully we can get done prior to darkness settling in.
daylight savings time helps.
Yes, it does. That's one of the perks.
Talk a little bit more about your schedule and who we have coming up.
This week, tomorrow actually, we are at home against South Dearborn. Wednesday, we travel to Batesville to play Oldenburg. And then the following week, we're home against Centerville, and then also home against Cambridge City on Thursday. And then the following Saturday, on the 22nd, that's when we have our Richmond invites. But it's usually between 2, 3, 4 matches a week. The practice time is limited once the season rolls around.
Limited to how much?
Normally we play on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and so trying to get finesse, working on our ground strokes, and making sure that we have the right lineup and trying to get to those 5 points the best that we can.
What about rainouts or snowouts? Because we still have that. I hope not. But is it hard to make up then with?
Absolutely, because not only trying to find an open day for us, but also find an open day for our opponents. And since we do have a conference matches on near the end of our season, we have to make sure that we get those matches done prior to that conference tournament. So trying to make sure that we are in the process of maneuvering our schedules around.
Take priority of, yeah.
Yeah.
Where is that conference tournament?
The conference is held at Greensburg. It's a 2-day event. So it's on a Thursday, and if we win individually, whether it's the 1, 2, 3 singles or the 1 and 2 doubles. If you win on the first day, then you come back on Saturday to finish out the round.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you get to sectional, isn't that like on a Friday night and a Saturday?
Sectional is on I believe it's on a Wednesday this
Okay.
year. Yeah, it's going to be Wednesday, May 17th, and then the sectional final is actually on a Friday. We do
Okay.
that just in case we do have a rain out,
Rain out,
and because the following week, that's when regionals occur.
But is there a time where you play back-to-back days?
Yeah, this last week against Batesville and Shenandoah, we played on Thursday and then turned around and played Friday with Shenandoah.
Kirsten, how does that work for you girls with your legs and all? Is that tough playing?
Yeah, it gets
nights
tough
in a row?
sometimes, especially when you play two really good teams back to back. But you just try and get as much sleep as you can and just prepare yourself for the next match.
Yeah. Grace, off season, do you play off season then too, and for fun or?
During the summer, yes, but most of the time I'm in the weight room or getting ready for my next season, like swimming or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to stay with it. Like last summer, I went out almost every day and played tennis before I went to work.
Mm-hmm. Does what you do in the weight room, does that help with both swimming and tennis? And
100%, yeah.
yeah, and you got a pretty good weight coach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
Your dad does that.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But, well, that's great. Do you play any other sports then? Fall sport or?
I was gonna try out soccer next year just for fun. I was their manager last season, and I had a really fun time with it. So I was just gonna see what happens if I play.
Sure. Well, that's good. You stay busy. What about you? What are your other sports that you play?
I played volleyball in the fall.
Uh-huh. That's you hit the weight room as well, and
Not so much.
not so much.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but got to have a lot of spring in your step for
Yep.
volleyball. I'm sure it's different muscle and different muscle memory that you would have for the two sports that you play.
Yeah, volleyball kind of helps with tennis some too because like the serve and a lot of the footwork goes into tennis just as well as volleyball.
Mm-hmm. Great. Coach, you said you got South Dearborn coming up. Do you have an opportunity to scout teams, or is that possible at all?
Not really. It depends on what our schedule looks like or how close the other team has been playing their opponents. But usually we just go off last year's scores and last year's players and see who they have and see if they've graduated anybody and see whether or not they have any move-ins or so. But
Well, that's probably true in most sports. You got to watch out for that. Now, South Dearborn, you're a couple years away from having been down there, but maybe you still know some of those kids.
I know a few. About last year was maybe 2 years ago was the last full group that I had. But I still keep in touch with a few parents and former players from down there. So it's always fun to play them, whether we travel down there or they come up here.
Mm-hmm. Do some sports in the conferences kind of a home and home? Do we do any of that with tennis?
No, our schedule is pretty much jammed packed anyways, so we don't play anybody more than once. Until it comes to whether it's the conference tournament or sectional.
Outside of the conference, you mentioned the Richmond Invitational. Who are some of the other schools? And you played Shenandoah. Who are some of the other schools, some of the tough ones on the schedule?
Centerville is usually a tough day in and day out. Kimber City has been up in their game as well, so they're always a tough match. And then Richmond as well. I'm not really sure what they have coming back, but they're always difficult.
Yeah, but pretty close to home here. You don't have to travel too far to play those teams.
No, our longest road trip, anyways, for this year has been Shenandoah, and I believe that is going to be our farthest, anyways. Usually, next year when we travel down to South Dearborn, that'll be a nice road trip too. Do
your JV kids play the same night as
they do
as the varsity?
They do. So the varsity starts out first. A majority of the schools have 6 courts. So we do 1, 2, 3 singles, 1, 2 doubles for varsity, and then a number 1 singles player for JV. And then after that, then the JV players will fill in when courts come available. So there's some matches that the varsity is playing for between an hour to 3 hours, and JV will fill in afterwards. So it's not like other sports where there's a time limit. We go until there's a winner.
Till it's time to go eat breakfast, maybe.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So who do you have helping you? You have an assistant?
I do. I have Bill Wilhoit, and then Mike Davis has helped out as well.
Bill's been around the sport for forever, so it's probably great to have someone like that.
It is, yes. When I first came to Connersville back in 2007, I was an assistant for the boys, both boys and girls tennis team. I was for 5 years for the boys, and then 6 years for the girls as an assistant. And Bill was there every step of the way as well. And so he
knows the game, so.
And he does a very good job of instructing the girls and getting them to do their best.
So, trying to think what else I can ask these girls and put them on the spot here. I know a good question. How many days left in school? I figure they'd have that right off the top of their head, Coach.
I think it's like 30 something.
30? Okay.
Maybe 40.
All right. We talked about you have 22 matches you can have, plus the tournament sectionals here, correct?
Yes.
And then regional?
Regional is at Richmond. It's been a while since we've won sectional as a team. I believe it was back maybe 2017, possibly maybe 18. So it's been a while. Last year, Kirsten was able to get out of the sectional and go out into regional and play up there as a singles player.
Well, it's time for you to bring your teammates along this year, right?
Yep.
Who are some of the other girls on the team?
My number 2 singles player is Katie Mitchell, another senior. So she brings her wisdom as a senior, and then I have Olivia Struing, 3 singles player, and as a sophomore, and then Grace along with Sarah as my number 1 doubles team, and then Harley Morris and Sophia Starr as finishes off the 2 doubles team. And then I have JV players, freshman Isabella Starr as well, and Bailey Lucas, sophomore, Cameron Butts, another freshman, Grace Kibbe, Alyssa Waddell, Maddie Harrison, Ella Miller, Trinity Steele, Sophia Sutherland, Emily Bischoff, Rux, our foreign exchange students, Sophie Neal, and Gracie Sparks. So we have 20 girls on the team, which is far more than other teams around. And it's good that we have a lot, getting them the opportunity to play and understanding the game. But also on the bad side is that not every team has 20 girls. Some of them only have 14, but we try our best to get everyone out and give them the opportunity to play and understand the game.
And at the JV level, it's about learning. Right?
It's about learning and knowing the score and just getting the fundamentals down. And that's where the middle school program will continue to help with that.
What can they do to, other than I guess just go out and play, but what can they do to improve, to get stronger at their game?
Just finding a person, a friend to go out to the courts and hit, whether it's up against the wall, whether it's with family members, just working on footwork, jumping rope. We've done jumping rope, and some of the girls enjoy it, some not so much. But footwork is a lot of it.
So the new field house, are you able to practice in the field house when weather isn't conducive on the outside? Or?
Unfortunately, we have not been able to use the tennis facility in there. They have one court, but right now we use the old gym, and it still does what it needs to do. We do a lot of hitting against the wall, partner work.
But it's not the same as being out there on the.
Not the same. No, I know. Especially even a little rain. When it rains, we have to be inside because the courts get really slick. So we go inside for practice. Girls hate the indoor practice. But we have to get those 10 practices in before that first match. And after that, then we're always outside. It doesn't matter if it's, usually if it's above 42, 43 degrees, then we're outside.
What about injuries? What types of injuries can a player sustain in playing?
Oh, we can have some sprains, twisted ankles, maybe step on a tennis ball, and then especially with serving as well, with the rotator cuff, and but mostly just with your feet and all that. But luckily, we really haven't had very many injuries, I don't think, anyways.
Well, and I would think conditioning and being in the weight room helps to strengthen all of that.
Yes.
Tennis is a game, and there are a few games that the students can play that they can play practically the rest of their life. You know, tennis and golf and swimming, those types of sports. Some of the other sports maybe not, but certainly a great sport for the young people to learn.
Absolutely. I've been telling the girls and then the middle school as well that tennis is like you said, a lifetime sport. You can play all the way up into your 90s, and but it's a great sport. I've been doing it ever since I was in high school, and I enjoy being with the girls in the middle school and just watching them grow and compete day in and day out.
Great. Well, appreciate all three of you, Kirsten and Grace and Coach, for coming in and spending a little time with us here on the Spartan Sports Report.
Yes, well, thank you for having us. Maybe we can do it some other time.
All right. We'll look forward to that. Thanks everyone for watching tonight. This has been Spartan Sports Report on TV3.